The Crow remake is not a bad movie. I said what I said. I don't really know what's been happening on social media, but I've heard all of the bad reviews. I've heard all of the bad comments about the film. And so I think my expectations were pretty low, but I did just see the film and I have some thoughts you might not agree with. So, of course, to get myself ready for it, I rewatched the original 1994 Crow with Brandon Lee. The first thing I noticed about the original Crow, which is 30 years ago now, is how incredible a performance Brandon Lee was giving. And it's really a shame he was only 28 years old when he made this movie. And it would be his last performance. They only had 8 days left of filming, and that's when the incident occurred that took his life. 28 years old, booming career, awesome talent, about to get married. Such a tragedy. Really just sad stuff. So I think it's easy to understand that people were saying about the remake that we don't need the remake. The original film is perfect. Now, I understand that. It's also 30 years old. Actually, I would tell haters of the remake that you kind of should be grateful for this film because 30 years later, everyone's going, what do you mean the original is so much better? Now a whole new generation of people who have never seen the original Crow with Brandon Lee get to watch it and really get to admire it. The original Crow definitely has a real sense of artistry to it, and it's hard to replicate that. You just can't. It was a movie of the times, 1993, 1994. Things were so different back then. Also, quick fun fact, I had no idea that the Joker scene in The Dark Knight when he walks into the room of all the mobsters was directly inspired by the final scene in The Crow where he walks into the room of the monsters and says, "Gentlemen." I had no clue. I only learned that last Friday night. Check that out. Now, if you're asking if the remake is better than the original, you're asking the wrong question. The Crow 24 is a retelling of the story with modern filmmaking. So that being said, it kind of stands on its own. I literally just came from the theater. I had low expectations because of what everyone was saying, but you know what? It's a good film. One of the complaints were they spend too much time on the relationship. Well, you know what? I think they were trying to do something different. I think they were trying to show you how this relationship was blossoming in the now, and then all of a sudden, it gets completely wrecked. It's a storytelling tactic to get you invested in these characters so that you understand the journey they are now going on. Skarsgård is great. They're always great. Him and his 17 brothers are taking all the acting roles away from us, but you know what? They're doing a good job with it. And honestly, the action in this film is really well done. And the way it builds up to the big giant opera scene that you've all seen in the trailers was really fun to watch. The action is hardcore and you're really in your seat and you're going, oh my God, ow, that's gotta hurt. And I really kind of like the mystery of the afterlife and the world that they were building. And they left certain questions unanswered. And that makes me wonder if that stuff came out of the comics or if that was made up entirely for this film. I couldn't quite find anything easily on Google about it, but I'm sure that in time, more information will come out. So I enjoyed watching this movie. It's definitely not as bad as people are saying. It's just different. It is a different film. Again, you should be grateful that everyone's talking about The Crow so they can go back and watch this masterpiece because it is a masterpiece. Now, this film is maybe lacking a little bit of the soul and the charm of the first movie, but what I appreciated is they really attempted to say this is just a realistic situation here, and this is really happening, and he's really dying and come back to life to get revenge, to get his girlfriend back. I mean, it was kind of just really real. And that's difficult to do with this sort of realm. And they did it. It was an enjoyable watch. And I'll tell you, if they were to make a sequel and go deeper into some of the afterworld stuff, I would watch that shit because I'm curious about it. And I love to see when, filmmakers go into that. So yeah, you might have heard a bunch of bad shit about this movie, but honestly, I give it a pass. I was shocked, honestly, when I walked out of the theater. I was like, that was actually a good watch. If you're looking for some kind of 30 years later tribute to the original movie, the only real tribute is that it's brought the movie back into people's minds. So now people are going back and watching the first film. I'm so sorry that they may watch those sequels from the 90s. So yeah, ignore the hate, clear your mind, go watch a movie about a story about this guy. And honestly, it's a fun ride. Some of those action pieces towards the end. Also, That's a good point. The movie actually does a good job of building up to that payoff so that that payoff is worth it in the end. I think people are just still with that ADD generation thing, and people's attention spans are really short. Just like this on the app, this video is probably way too long for you. But if you've sat through this video and you've hit that heart and you've dropped a comment to yell at me, or you even reposted my video, you're a real one, fam. That's what the kids say these days. There's probably a bunch of other things I wanted to say and didn't say, but tell me in the comments, have you seen the new film? Will you not see the new film? Do you love the old film? Have you never seen the original film? Let me know. Let's talk about it. And here's my impression of a crow. Ah! Ah! You see why I'm not a hired actor. Thanks, everybody. Bye.